Rush, in the third hour of his show, after 2 hours of talking incessantly about how, well, I guess we're going to tack to the left now and crying about it, finally said, wow, I was wrong. And the reason I was wrong is because, give it a minute, is because it wouldn't surprise me. That's what he said. It wouldn't surprise me. And Rush has been pro Cruz. He cried when Trump, when Cruz dropped out of the race. He pretty much cried for 3-4 days.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Rush
until
had
Friday's
to lick
show.
his wounds.
No, he said conservatism. It's just not there. Conservatism not there. He said this for like 4 days. It wasn't until Friday's show, and I gotta give Rush credit. Finally, Friday's show was great. So
because Monday's show was the worst show
ever.
I have
Friday
ever
was great.
heard Rush say.
Yeah,
so,
Friday's show was his best show of the week. But anyway, so.
All right. Welcome to Smith Radio. You guys are listening to smithradio.com with your host, Brian Smith and Kerry Smith. If you want to be part of the show and you're listening to us live, call in line at 772-49-SMITH, SMYTH. You can find us on Facebook.com/Smith Radio to stay plugged into all the late-breaking details of the news. And follow us on Twitter at Smith Radio.
And don't forget, we are all over the place for you. We love going on tangents and it's like, I don't know, it's like being at a get together.
It's an ADD concert of ADD kids just running around with all different crazy ideas.
Pretty much. That pretty much sums it up. So
we just wrapped that up about the whole Trump, supporting Trump, not supporting Trump. We went through the whole details of, and there's going to be more news coming out left and right, claiming that Trump supports this or he supports that. It's going to come. They're going to be lies again and again and again. Like we just finished up talking about Trump supports $15 wage. No,
he just didn't take it off the table because he didn't want to give a tool to Hillary Clinton to bash him over the head with.
And now, I heard a lot of Cruz supporters, a lot of other Democrats and Tea Party members thrown out there. I was part of the NRA group on Facebook. No longer am I. But they were all about Trump's going to steal our guns.
Well, read his website.
And clearly that's a lie. So you get your facts from the fact machine, which is Donald's website. And again, I'll say it again here on Smith Radio. We will hold
we'll be the first.
fire.
We will be the first ones to blast on him if he ends up doing something that's either not conservative, anti-constitutional, or is considered a flip-flop. And trust me, if it's a real flip-flop, which, by the way, when I ask anti-Trump people to name a flip-flop, they love to point out, and they'll actually use this exact phraseology,
wow,
that he has had 5 different positions on abortion in one day.
Yeah, I loved that one. That was just unbelievable.
So let me point out the 5 different ones. The first one is pro-life. The second one is pro-life. The third one is pro-life. The fourth one is pro-life. And the fifth one is pro-life.
Okay, so he's pro-life.
He sounds like he's totally pro-life. Now, if you want to say that he flip-flopped from being pro-choice because way back in his past he was pro-choice, let me tell you something. Most conservative Republicans used to be liberal Democrats. Most. Why do you think so many Democrats are young and so many conservative Republicans are old?
Well, at least middle-aged, homeowners, family people, husband, wife, children, house, you're in your 30s plus, you're getting in. And those that are single in their 30s, a lot of them tend not to be conservative Republicans. But
right.
Once you start to grow up and mature in life, you start to realize, hey, life's kind of tough, but I got to buckle down and make it happen.
Well, let me give you what the standard answer is. Oh, it's because conservatism is on the outs. It's old school. It's on the outs. And we got this new grassroots, these young bucks that are going to change the world. And they're the liberal Democrats, and they're the up and coming. This is going to be what the future is. Well, let me tell you something. It's always been that. If you go back to the 60s, all the liberal Democrats were all young. All the conservatives were all old. You go to the 80s, all the liberals were young. All the conservatives were old. You go to the 90s, the 2000s, the 2000 teens. Doesn't matter. The liberals are always young and the conservatives are always old. What does that tell you? That tells you, if you have any logic in your brain, that all those young liberals from the 60s grew up and became conservative Republicans. Right. All the young ones from the 80s that were all liberal Democrats, they grew up, and today they're all conservative. Me, personally, back in the 80s, I was a liberal Democrat. Back in the 90s, I was a liberal Democrat. All of a sudden, I got older, mature, more wise. I learned about the world, and I became, guess what? Liberalism fails.
Right.
Guess what?
Right.
Conservatism works. And that's why wise people are conservative, because they looked at both sides and said, which way works and which way doesn't work? Well, it looks like liberalism doesn't work. Conservatism does work. Now, how does that apply to Trump? He used to be a liberal. Now he's a conservative. If it was the other way around, I would be like, whoa, that's a big red flag. It doesn't happen very often that young conservatives grow up to become, I'll tell you what, that's an interesting stat. How often does it go the other way?
I have heard people claim that they are liberal and they used to be conservative.
Rare.
It is not only is it so rare, but the ones who have claimed to switch, they was never conservative to begin with. I've seen it. I've seen a couple of different, Tucker Carlson. I mean, if he came out and told me he's liberal now, dog.
He's an idiot anyway.
Dog, you were an idiot before, and you're still an idiot now.
Right. I mean, people that have a limited intellectual capacity, I could see that happening.
Okay, so check this out. Michael Medved, he's a Jewish guy out in L.A., has a very, very syndicated nationally talk show.
Yeah, I used to listen to him.
Phenomenal guy, and he became conservative, and he hit one of New York Times best-selling books called Right Turns, plugging Michael Medved for his book called Right Turns, where he talks about being in a Jewish community, being in that, I mean, he's very, very old school, if you would, Jewish. He talks about it a lot on his show. But being in that community and making a right turn to be conservative, and how difficult that was, and how he got ostracized from his family and his friends and all these different things that he had to go through to become that conservative guy. So I'm just saying it doesn't happen the other way. You don't go from being enlightened and a hard worker and personally responsible, because being a conservative means being personally responsible for you and all your actions and everything around you. If you are personally responsible for you, yourself, and everything around you, you don't go from that to being unresponsible for you and everything around you. And here's why. When you're young, you're not personally responsible for much of anything else, and you're just running wild. When you get met with the real world and you start to see, oh my goodness, how am I going to make a living at that? How am I going to make this happen? And if you read other leaders and other successful business people, if you read other successful just people in general, some of their biographies, you will quickly learn that hard work and the stick-to-itiveness will get you that success. And it doesn't take long for you to realize, oh my goodness, I've been working hard at this job. I've been focused at this job. I'm not out partying with my buddies. I'm not out getting blasted on Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, rolling into work, feeling, not my best, and I'm not performing very well. Or you go into work with that union mentality. Like they need to come to the table. They need to come to me. I'm the employee. You need to come and serve me. No. When you quickly realize, I will do my best at all times, I will be personally responsible for myself at all times, you will see the success that comes. Once you see that success, you start to realize with the success becomes more responsibility. But that more responsibility, that more success brings more freedom. Freedom isn't freedom of responsibility. Freedom comes because you're responsible. And once you step into that light of all of that, there is no way on God's green earth, unless somebody hits you with a brick, that you would give all that away for the check of the government.
Well, some people apparently will. But no, you're right. As soon as you display irresponsible behavior, that's when the freedom goes away. It's just like children. You know,
what do you do to your child if you're a responsible parent and your child, you tell your child, okay, stay out of my stuff in the garage. Here's the box of fireworks for the 4th of July. That's not for 3 weeks from now. Stay away from that and stay out of that. And then all of a sudden,
stay out of the cookie jar, and just
right,
we have rules.
Hours later, you hear all the fireworks going off all at the same time. What do you do?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely are going to take away the freedom.
They lose their freedom, and if you talk to your kids like that, you have your freedom because you're being responsible right now. You will lose your freedom, and I'm only showing this to you now because this is a little taste of what the real world and the government will do. And I tell my kids this all the time. There's 2 different ways to learn in this world. You're either going to learn from daddy or you're going to learn from the government. And one of 2 ways. It's going to be easy. I promise you, it will be so easy to learn from me and to take my punishments. Because if you don't learn from me, the real world, life will teach you. Life will be your teacher. And let me tell you, life could care less about you and your feelings and everything that happens to you. Life will take it all away and smile at you while you're destitute laying there in the ground. It doesn't matter. Daddy won't be like that.
What about the government?
Once you make the government your daddy.
And that's what it is.
And you sell your soul to that day. Okay, so take the 2 examples I gave you. Either me, your father, or life. Okay, now people see life, or they don't have a father, and they see life and how hard it is. The government is looking from a side mirror, from the side, and they're looking in on this situation. And like, oh, we see an opportunity. Look at that one right there. He's being beat down by life, and life is hard on him. Let's swoop in there. Let's give him a little bit. Let's give him a little bit of love, a little bit of taste. Make it a little bit easier so it's not so hard on him. Boy, people get addicted to that. That's that crack cocaine that you could get addicted to. That money from the government that just starts pouring over to the people. This is what happened to Rome. What happened to Rome is that Caesar said, I'll buy my popularity by giving them all the money to the people. It didn't work then, and it's not going to work now. So back to personal responsibility. People in the Midwest, when they got hit with a huge tornado, I believe it was in Oklahoma, and it took out an entire city, a small city, but the whole city got taken out. Within a couple of days, FEMA showed up, the government. The people met FEMA at the front gate of their city and said, go home. Go back. We got this. We don't need the government. We don't need FEMA. We will clean this up and we will take care of our own. I promise you, it was probably the hardest thing they've ever done in their life. However, when you get through that, when you get through all that hard work and you find yourself on the other end of that, oh, the amount of pride, the amount of success, the amount of freedom, and the amount of respect that you get from other human beings. You can't buy that. That's immeasurable. And that only comes from hard work. It's think about the 80-20 rule. This happens anywhere in all life, in any situation. You can apply this to anything. And I keep harping about this to some of my friends, and I want to talk more about this. I keep harping about this on Smith Radio. The 80-20 rule is so